Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, and welcome to the Rise and Slay Morning Show. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I advise and empower women professionals, especially women veterans, to step into their most authentic personal brand to attract and gain lucrative opportunities. And y'all, it is becoming clearer and clearer to me every day on who I am serving and who is coming to me. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that too as I continue on. All right. So, what does this slay mean and all the things? Well, slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for Universal Life and Leadership Philosophies that really resonate with me, and hopefully they resonate with you too. And that is stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and knowing you are built to last. So as you come in on the show, please make sure you put in your name and where you're streaming in from. We've got Chevy. She is on the LinkedIn side of the house. So thank you so much for being here with me live, Queen. It's a new day. Okay. And you know what I'm talking about. So thank you so much and good luck on your presentation today. You're going to slay it, Queen. Okay, y'all. So as we continue on, the Rise and Slay morning show is all about how to gain visibility. Okay, how to accelerate success, how to empower your mindset, how to get into a different space, if you will, so that people can see you. So today we're talking about, can they see you? Okay, now this conversation today is specifically for first time business owners. Okay, this show, okay, is for you if you started a business and you're not quite sure of what branding and marketing and all this other stuff means, as well as you don't have a lot of monies, okay, to throw at or to learn how to get this thing going. And also, you don't have the time or the capacity right now to even think about like where to begin. That's where I come in. Okay? That's where I give you the not only tactical skills, but also the strategic skills, because all of this, y'all, that I have done over the past few years has been from experience, skill sets, experiences that I've had while I was serving in the United States Air Force. And by the way, happy birthday to the United States Air Force. Okay, it is their 78th birthday today. So I served for 3 decades. I then turned into this keynote speaker, trainer about personal branding, personal brand strategist, expert, if you will. I'm an author of several books. Actually, there are 5 different books out there, 3 of them that I personally self-published, and they're up here. This one specifically is the one that I go into organizations, and when I go and speak, this is the book that I bring, because this is the one that I have found where I started to really invest into my personal brand and to really elevate myself to get opportunities. So this conversation, y'all, is coming from the post that I posted, I think, on either Monday or Tuesday. And if you are on LinkedIn, hey, LinkedIn, you know that I am always showing up. Okay. I'm consistent with the visibility piece. Good morning, Leslie. Happy Thursday. I know we do this on Tuesday, but on Tuesday, I had an event to go to. So I was like, you know what? I will still have the show, but I'm going to have it on Thursday. And I also text Leslie and said, hey, because she's one of my faithful followers who comes up for the show. So good morning to you, and thank you so much for being here. And let me go on to the LinkedIn side, because y'all know sometimes LinkedIn does not allow me to be great. And so I just want to make sure we're not missing out on anyone else who has a comment on that side. Oh, Tish is there. Hey, Tish, good morning and happy Thursday. How you doing? How you feeling? Okay, so this discussion is all about visibility. Okay. I want to specifically talk to anyone who is starting a business or thinking about starting a business. All right. We're going to just like clear the air, if you will, about what it is to get you seen and kind of get you the opportunities, because opportunities don't just fall on your lap. You have to be able to create the pull. All right. You have to be able to do things, and we'll talk about those things on a consistent basis. So people know where to find you. They know what you're talking about. They know whether or not you are fitting for whatever event that they have. It gives you the right opportunities with the right people for the right reasons. Again, I've been on this journey for the past couple of years now and really been focusing on building my brand. That has been my strategic plan all along. All right. You will see some things kind of turn the corner a little bit on what I was looking to do in the next. And I think branding, personal branding, self-branding is an evolution. All right. Once you figure out like what it is that people are coming to you about and who needs your services and what gaps and what problems you're solving, things become a lot easier when it comes to this. So when I transition, y'all, from being in the military environment to entrepreneurship and now business owner, okay, because I am a business owner, and entrepreneurship and business owner can be two different things or two different ways that you look at it. Entrepreneurship for me was like finding out exactly whether or not I wanted to work for myself. Okay. So I've discovered, yes, I do want to work for myself. And yes, I like the freedom. I like the flexibility. I like the autonomy, if you will. I can decide one day if I don't want to do business really, because I've got other things going on, or I just want to take a break, I can do that. Or I can just swing the pendulum around and be like, you know what, I work my business all day. I have clients, that I am working with one-on-one, and we're doing these private consulting sessions so that they can build their brand. And so, when I transitioned out of the military, I really thought like my evaluations, my reports, my medals, my decorations, all these things were going to speak for themselves. And little did I know that this new space that I'm in the lane that I operate in, all right, people don't automatically know, okay, they don't know. All right. They didn't know. I had to step outside of the uniform and create the narrative and build a story and share in such a way where it resonated with them. And people didn't automatically recognize my value right away. All right. So I had to ask myself a question. So if you're with me, put a fire in the chat or whatnot, or, let me know that you're, taking these things in. But I had to really ask myself, how can I make sure that the right people see me, not just for what I've done, but for the impact I can create right now? Okay. That was the question. That is the loaded question, if you will, that I continue to ask myself. And yesterday I was at an event. One of my brothers in arms, Todd Simmons, he had an event. It was downtown DC. And y'all, it took me an hour and a half in traffic to get down there and 2 hours coming back because there was an accident. But it was well worth my time because it invoked a lot of feelings for me. Like, where am I at in my business journey? And one of the questions that came up was, why me? Why would anyone want to work with me? Why would anyone want to invest in this personal branding, if you will, that I speak to? And so I've really had to ask, what kind of impact do I want to create? So that's a question that we need to all learn more about and lean in about, because that's the power of really building a personal brand for whatever it is. But today, specifically, I'm talking to first time business owners because I'm a first time business owner and I have had ample amount of opportunities. I've created opportunities for myself. People have invited me into an opportunity. I've had, several clients, I would say more than 10 clients since I started out, because I decided to use this as the front end, and I have been able to do it very well. So the truth of the matter is that anyone who's in a leadership position, a decision maker, maybe even an influencer, just don't hire, people for their skills. They invest in people that they notice. They invest in people that they trust and those that they want to champion and get behind. All right. So I'll tell you, like, my years, and especially as I continue to, make rank and, get the responsibilities and so forth. And I remember, like, one of the things that I prided myself in was to walk around and check in on the peoples. Okay. So even when you get to a higher level of leadership, you will see some people like operating from behind their desk. They never get up, they never go out and do things in person. They're, hidden because they don't want anybody asking them any questions, or they feel like they got way too much work to do to be going out and interfacing with anybody. And what I realized is that the airmen, the officers, the spouses, anyone that was on an installation, especially when I was in specific high visibility roles, they needed to see me. Okay. They needed to see me in the dorms. They needed to see me outside on the, what do you call that? The airfield. They needed to see me even in the toughest situations. I had many tough situations during my career. All right. It wasn't optional. Visibility wasn't optional for me. If they didn't see me leading from the front, then they wouldn't trust me to lead at all. All right. And we all have seen, maybe you are working right now in a particular profession where your supervisor or whoever is in charge, they never come out of your office. So, like, what's that feeling that you have about that person, whether or not they're going to step in? And it's not about ego, it's about responsibility. Okay. So it meant that I needed to show up even when it was uncomfortable. So others knew that they weren't alone. And it meant my actions and my presence gave others the courage to rise. So fast forward to through entrepreneurship. And now I'm changing my language to be a business owner. And I can see that this applies as well. And not only applied when I was in service, it applies even more because there's a 500,000 businesses out here. Okay. And in the lane that I'm in, I, as an image consultant, personal brand strategist, there are a lot of others that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. So how can we set ourselves apart from everybody else? And so I have had conversations, y'all, and I want to share a few of them that I've had here lately. I met with a great community leader the other day, and they have been here in the DMV for a very long time. And y'all, we've been here for about 4 years. And he wanted to meet me. Okay, so we met virtually. And he wanted to tell me that he had never seen someone like come up, that hasn't been here before, is new to the area, and to be able to create and build their business in such a way. He wanted to know who I was. He just wanted to find out because he says he sees me everywhere. He said, your name and your message continually show up on my feed. I see you in pink, and I just want to know who this woman is. And I realized that my personal brand was speaking for me or has been speaking for me. And I had to really think to myself, like, how is this happening? Well, because I decided to do things on my own. Okay, when you're a first time business owner, again, you don't have the luxury of spending monies here, there, and everywhere and not really get the true results because you're just starting out. So I've made a lot of the mistakes in the beginning. And now I realize, like, over time, how I've been able to course correct and really figure out the ways to get additional opportunity. Y'all, like, I have on an average for a month, we'll just say in a month's span, I have at least 3 to 4 opportunities that I go either speak, I do my presentations, I'm invited to, special events, at least 3 to 4 major opportunities a month. And it's been very consistent. Um, I remember my last presentation that I gave, and that was at the University of Maryland. And I got 2 opportunities. Well, actually, three opportunities. So, one where I'm going to be speaking for a women veterans community. I had another woman that I met virtually who was interested in understanding what the Brand Boldly program, the one that I offer, what that was all about. And then I had another one who was looking to find out how to self-publish their book. Okay, like, these are the things that we can do for ourselves. We just have to understand how we're going to be doing that. And Chevy's got a comment. It's your energy and execution. You decided to take bold action in the business you're building. I have, and you're absolutely right. I knew that I have had a lot of experience in showing up and being resilient. All right. And getting back up again, even when I get knocked down. And the same thing is happening in business. There's high, lows, and in betweens in business. Nothing is constant. All right. And how do you navigate through each one of these challenges and be able to say, you know what? I just want to get after it again. I have a mission. All right. What I'm building is not just a business, it's a movement. All right. This is a call to action for anyone who is starting out their business. I don't want you to start off timid, scared, or, feeling this is not possible. You can step out as bold, and I say the most authentic and truest of yourself. Because once you establish that, people understand where you're at and what you're doing. All right. I don't have to do a lot of, what do you call that? Like reinventing anything from like my style perspective. Y'all, this styling is part of the strategy as well when it comes to can they see you? All right. When we wear clothes or, outfits that don't speak to who we are and they're drab and that energy is down and they can see that this is okay, you're like everybody else. No, this is intentional. We're stepping out intentionally with our outfits, with our energy, and we're taking this bold action each and every day and understanding that we have what we need. And, and when I show up boldly and authentically, that's where a lot of things start to happen. Yesterday, again, I was in, pink jacket and a pink and purple dress and pink shoes, y'all. And, I was pinking. Okay. But what most importantly, I was in brand mode. I embody my brand. And that is the other piece to can they see you? I wear pink everywhere I go. Okay. So people can start to notice me and they can see that there is a theme going on. All right. So whether or not you're in uniform or you're transitioning, or specifically, I'm talking to first time business owners, The 3 ways, and those 3 ways were put on the post. And now I'm going to kind of speak to them and give you a little bit more insight. You got to be visible with purpose. All right. This is about attention to detail. This is about understanding where you're going, who's going to be there, and then deciding what you're going to wear and bringing the energy. Okay. Especially first time and you're like, I don't even know what I don't know. Right. You need to start out really, 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 really like the fire is like in you, and you're like, I don't want to mess around. I don't have time to be messing around. I was having a conversation with Chevy last night, because me and her are accountability partners. And she said, like, she asked me, how was the event yesterday? And I was like, you know what? I was a little bit in my feelings yesterday. But at the same time, it helped me to understand I showed up. Okay. I showed up on purpose with intention of representing not only myself, but my business. Okay. And I was intentional when I was in service, especially in my last role, where the airmen or whoever, my people, needed to see me because I was up in there in the top 3 on an installation. And as now a business owner, I'm sharing insights and stories and results that highlighted my impact. And people can't value what they can't see. Okay. People can't value what they can't see. All right. So we got to be visible with purpose. So that's number 1. All right. Number 2, we got to be consistent. Okay. Now, consistency looks different for everybody. But if you are starting out like I have, all right, I show up every day on LinkedIn. I have been showing up every day on LinkedIn for the past 2 years, and it was on purpose. It's with intention. Why? People needed to get to know me outside of what I have been doing and get wrapped around the idea of the business of Slay to Success. And it takes time, and it takes, like methodical thinking. I haven't been slacking on it and it's been hard, but you know what? Now I'm reaping the benefits of continuing to show up. So again, looking at my past, when I was consistent with my wording, when I was in service, and now being consistent in my wording now as a business owner, my clients, okay, my community, and even my message, my presence, everything is in alignment. Everything that I'm doing is in alignment. So consistency builds credibility. All right. Consistency builds credibility. People know where to find me. All right. If I am not here on the talk shows, and I call them talk shows on purpose, all right, because that is what I want it to be and what I am looking to do in the future. They know where to find me. It's either going to be, and I make the decision, right? Tuesday is usually the day that I come on the Rise and Slay, but because I had something else going on, I decided to move it to Thursday. That's still being consistent. I have the Slay to Success talk show on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's on selected Sundays, but I will show up. I'll let everybody know that I'm showing up, right? The content that we create, it has to be wrapped around the idea. Okay, what is this content for? Why are you putting this thing out there, right? What platform are you using? What is the end goal? That is the things that we have to think through, but being consistent. All right. Because if you just decide, hey, today I'm just going to do something, and then, like 2 weeks, I'm going to put something out, like that is not consistency. All right. Where you can get your people, your following, because we all have an assignment of people that are looking for us to show up. And then the last one is we got to build these real connections. All right. So I got on my post today on the LinkedIn, I got a lot of comments about, what does visibility and connection really mean to me? Like what do I do? And how have I been able to kind of create a name for myself here in the DMV. And I'm like, okay, it's active and passive networking. That's one of the ways, right? So like I'm very active in the community. I am a part of several organizations. I show up for those things. And when I'm out and about, I want people to see me. Okay. Because that invokes conversations, that gets people an idea. Maybe they know someone, maybe they don't need my services, all right? But somebody else may need it and they will remember me. I don't want to be unforgettable, okay? Because when you're in business, it is somewhat of a competition, if you will, all right? And not to say that you're like, looking at anybody else or anything like that, but it's a competition to see like success. Ooh, I so Abby, and I can't pronounce her last name, but she was the business strategist for yesterday, when I went to that event. And she said something very profound. And I was like, yep, absolutely, queen. She said, success is speed. And she had learned that and heard that from someone else. And I'm like, you know what? You know what really has helped me is visibility, authenticity, boldness. Those three things have really helped me, and people see me. So you have to build those connections. All right. So I've done active and passive, of course, publications and books, these podcasts or talk shows. I'm on other people's talk shows. I'm on stages. I do training. I do master classes. And okay, before we go on any further, in the comments, you will see that I am having a master class on September 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is specifically for, anyone who's looking to increase their influence. All right, how you can stand out, how you can lead and thrive in today's world, because it's different than it was even a few years back. Okay, a lot of people are still not quite sure on how to separate themselves from everyone else. And so that's what we're going to be speaking about. And it is going to be a super masterclass. So if you haven't signed up, or you know someone who needs to be in the masterclass, and it's FREE, okay? But if you know someone who needs to be in the masterclass, send the link to them. Don't be hiding and, like gatekeeping information. Send it to them or yourself. You need to like show up, okay? Show up for yourself, show up for your business, show up for your community, so that way you can get more information on how to stand out and really lead boldly, right? Because I've got some strategies. I got some secrets, okay? But anyway, so building these connections, some of the most important opportunities are not coming from my resume or my bio or, my website, if you will. It is all coming from the relationships, from people who know me. All right. Next week's opportunity, I'm speaking for Mount St. Mary's University. I think that's the technical name of the university, because it's from somebody that I know. And they wanted me to be on a panel, and they want me to talk about branding. All right. And I'm like, yes, because again, that's in my wheelhouse and they know. So when we build connections, they know, right? These are people who respect me. All right. They're opening doors for me. And this is how you can do it for yourself too. So your next opportunity, whatever that opportunity is, it's already out there. But the real question is, can they see you? So I talked about 3 ways, right, to make your personal brand work for you. 1, be visible with purpose. 2, be consistent. And 3, build real connections. So that is the Rise and Slay morning show. Okay. And hopefully everybody is moving their bodies. All right. I had an amazing workout this morning, y'all. I was able to do my 45-minute HIIT boot camp on the treadmill, of course, treadmill with the heavy weights. and walk for just a little bit because I got a lot going on today. Hopefully, you got a lot going on, and that you're taking care of yourself as well. So, thank you so much for Chevy, Madame, which is Leslie, and Tish. And I've got my aunt. Okay. Aunt Judy is in the building. I see you're watching too. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me this morning. Tish said Zumba in the pool twice a week now. Yes. Okay. That's what we're doing. Okay. So making sure that we are keeping up with our health, because when these opportunities come around, we want to be ready. That's why I'm all about stay ready to be ready. All right. We not waiting until the last second and trying to figure this stuff out. All right. We have a plan for ourselves. We're showing up in our truest and most authentic and favorite self. And we're giving people, okay, all of what we got going on. All right. So I just want to say thank you all for showing up. Make sure that you are checking out the link here. All right, and that is the bold influence. Okay, how to stand out and lead and thrive in today's world. It's a master class. It's a virtual, and we'll be down there for about 60 to 75 minutes, depending on who comes and what kind of questions people have. All right, so make sure that you're either signing up for that, registering that, and that is on September 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's going to be virtually. All right. And then also make sure that if you are on LinkedIn, okay, LinkedIn, you will see some things change differently on some of my posts or whatever. But I'm going to keep you all in suspense. So just, continue to follow me on that platform if you're there. Let's just have fun in this new journey. Okay. This is a journey, of course. We're always constantly evolving and finding out new things. All right. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And I will see you all very soon. Love y'all. Bye-bye.